Hi, this is Gideon Sketchbook, illustrated by Jill Mockingbird. Last time we read about Gideon pushing down the altar of Baal. Judges 6:33. Then all the Midianites, Amalekites, the people of the east gathered together. Midianites, Amalekite, and eastern people gathered together. And they crossed over and encamped in the valley of Jezreel. Midianites camped in their tent, Amalekites camped, and people of the east camped. The Midianites, Amalekites, and the children of the east. There's north, south, west, and east. East, west. They camped in the valley of Jezreel, and the valley is the area between two mountains. Let's read it again. Then all the Midianites and Amalekites, the people of the east, gathered together, and they crossed over and encamped in the valley of Jezreel. Judges 6:34. But the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon. Then he blew his trumpet. The Spirit of the Lord. Boom, boom, boom. And the Abiezrites gathered behind him. Come on, guys. So it's Gideon and the Abiezrites gathered behind him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh. Go to Manasseh, messengers. Read that again. But the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon. Then he blew his trumpet, and the Abiezrites gathered behind him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh. Judges 6:35, who also gathered behind him. Those from Manasseh also followed Gideon. He also sent messengers to Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. Gideon, go to Asher, Zebulun, Naphtali. Messengers. And they came up to meet them. So everybody gathered up. Those from Asher came up. Those from Zebulun came up. Those from Naphtali went to meet Gideon. Let's read that again. Who also gathered behind him. He also sent messengers to Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and they came up to meet them. Judges 6:36. So Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand, God will use the hand of Gideon to save Israel. Yay. If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, God said he would do this. Look with your eyes. I shall put a fleece of wool, fleece from the sheep, on the threshing floor. Gideon's putting the wool on the floor. Tells God. Let's read that again. So Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, look, I shall put a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. Judges 6:37. If there is dew, water on the floor only, and it is dry on all the ground. If there is dew on the fleece only, and it is dry on all the ground. So dry on the ground around the fleece, but the fleece is wet. Then I shall know it's true that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. Yay, Israel saved by Gideon. I said it was going to happen. God. In other words, if the fleece is wet, God will save Israel through Gideon. And it was so. That's what happened. When he arose early the next morning, when Gideon woke up, let's read this one more time. If there is dew on the fleece only, and it is dry on all the ground, then I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. And it was so. Then he arose early in the next morning, Judges 6:38, and squeezed the fleece together. He wrung the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. Gideon wrung dew out of the fleece. That was hard to draw. Then Gideon said to God, do not be angry with me. Please don't do this, God. Don't be angry with Gideon, but let me speak just once more. Please let Gideon speak once more. Let me test, I pray, just once more with the fleece. Here's Gideon. One more test, please, with the fleece. Let's read that again. And squeeze the fleece together. He wrung the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. Then Gideon said to God, do not be angry with me, but let me speak just once more. Let me test, I pray, just once more with the fleece. Judges 6:39. Let it now be dry only on the fleece, but on all the ground let there be dew. So let's do this again. This time have a dry fleece and the ground around it is wet. And God did so that night. So there's the night. God did it. It was dry on the fleece only, but there was dew on all the ground. Through God, Gideon will save Israel from the Midianites. God will save Israel by Gideon's hand. Here's the first test by Gideon, and then the second test. Let it now be dry only on the fleece, but on all the ground let there be dew. And God did so that night. It was dry on the fleece only, but there was dew on all the ground. Through God, Gideon will save Israel from the Midianites. Judges 7:1. Then Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, Jerubbaal, also known as Gideon, aka Gideon. Then Jerubbaal and all of the people who were with him rose early. Gideon and company, the yawn stretch, rose early and encamped beside the wall of Herod. Gideon's camp by the wall of Herod. So that the camp of the Midianites was on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. They were north, the Midianites were in the valley, the low area, and I guess they're next to by the hill of Moreh. Let's read that again. Then Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all the people who were with him rose early and encamped beside the wall of Herod, that the camp of the Midianites was on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. Judges 7:2. And the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many. There are too many people with Gideon. Look at all those people. For me to give the Midianites into their hands. There are too many Israelites to give the Midianites into their hands. Lest Israel claim glory for itself again against me. Boasting against God, the Israelites were better than God, saying, my own hand has saved me. Israel may say, my own hand has saved me. God tells Gideon, I'm the Savior here. My own hand saved me. I did this, says the people of Israel. So God does not want that. And the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel claim glory for itself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Judges 7:3. Now therefore proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, a proclamation, says Gideon, listening people. Whoever is fearful and afraid, who is full of fear, let him turn and depart at once from Mount Gilead. Those who are fearful and afraid must leave from Mount Gilead. Gideon, God are talking. God's talking to Gideon. Now therefore proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him turn and depart at once from Gilead. Judges 7:3. And 22,000 of the people returned. 22,000 went home. Goodbye. Fearful men, and 10,000 remained. 10,000 stayed to fight. We're staying. And 22,000 people returned, and 10,000 remained. Judges 7:4. But the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. There are still too many people. Bring them down to the water. Come on, guys, says Gideon. I will test them for you there. There will be a test. Bring the people to the water for a test. Let's read it again. But the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. A couple more pages left, guys. Judges 7:4. Then it will be that of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you. The same shall go with you. He will go with Gideon. And of whomever I say to you, this one shall not go with you. No, not him. The same shall not go. He will not go. Go with Gideon. So he brought the people down to the water. Read that again. Then it will be that of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you. This one shall go with you. He shall go with you. He will go with Gideon. Whomever I say to you, this one shall not go with you. Not him. The same shall not go. So he brought the people down to the water. He shall not go with Gideon. Judges 7:5. And the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps water with his tongue. So this was hard. I think cupping the water, cupping your hand with water, like a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. So whoever laps water like a dog laps will be set apart. Likewise, everyone who gets on his knees to drink. Set apart those on their knees. Separate the lappers and the non-lappers, God tells Gideon. And the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps water with his tongue, like a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise, everyone who gets on his knees to drink. Judges 7:6. And the number of those who lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, was 300 men. 300 men did this. But all the rest of the people got down on their knees to drink water. I tried hard to try this in different ways, so hopefully you get the picture. And we'll stop there. Wait, one more page. Then the Lord said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I will save you. Salvation will come to Israel by these 300 men who cup their hands to drink. There's the water. And deliver the Midianites into your hands. Midianites were defeated by Gideon with the 300 men. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. Everyone else go home. Okay, last page, last time. Then the Lord said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I will save you, and deliver the Midianites into your hand. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. Have a good, blessed evening. I'm reading this at night. Where did the day go?